So I was watching this thing last night on, I think it's Laura Ingraham. Maybe it was Hannity, one of the conservatives. And they were talking about how there was this guy who created this website that lists all the universities that preach the white privilege, the critical race theory. Critical race theory, it's like, would you like to learn about resentment? Come, learn resentment. Learn to hate yourself. We're going to teach you a class on self hatred. I don't know, man. I guess I'd want to know if my kids were in that. But I was kind of thinking about it, that same type of idea, that same type of platform, it could be applied to other things, you know? Essentially, here's the thing, right? People all have their own levels of fear. And you can't say to one person, live fearlessly, when that person lives with fear. And some people are constrained with fear. They are so constrained with fear that they're going to live in fear in a regular place for the rest of their lives. It's just how they live their lives. They're constantly in fear. So there are people who live constantly in fear. That's just a reality. Those are the people who fight. Those are the ones who are fighting for the wealth. Those are the ones who are fighting the power for the power. Those are the ones who are fighting to have the perfect bodies, so they have the sexual controls. Those are the people fighting to control. And they're doing that because they're insecure. And they're insecure because they're afraid. And they're constantly afraid. So the people who attack you are essentially consumed in their own fear. And they're going to destroy you if you allow them. You just can't allow that. And it literally is being conscious when you're conscious and you have an understanding of all of this. It literally is like being a parent. You do have to be a parent, man. And you have to say, well, I have this family, and this family's got this fucked up dynamic in it. How do I deal with this? And say it's a really bad dynamic. And it takes some serious healing, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything can be solved if everybody's willing. If everybody's willing to sit down and fucking deal with shit, anything can be resolved. Any hurdle can be passed. That's the power of family. That can be done, but it's got to be proactive and well thought and intelligent. And that's where a lot of the people around you fail. They don't have that family. They don't have that solidarity in that family, and they don't really want you to have that family either. And all of this shit about this new way forward is about excluding fathers' rights. And I'm not going to be a part of that. I just won't. I'll never father another child in this environment. I'll leave that to other men. So essentially, everybody lives in their own state of fear. And if we treat that with respect, and we treat that with respect to the pandemic, and allow people to have the things that they need, like for whatever reason, man, the teachers in Chicago don't want to teach their kids. Perhaps they all want to learn to interpretive dance. I'm just saying, maybe that just needs to be a town where there's not so many students. Maybe one of the greatest federal benefits we could offer people, especially at this point in time, is a pandemic relocation fund for people who want to move to another city that's dealing with the pandemic differently. Some people like the restrictions of a place like New York, and they want to live there because they feel safer. Other people don't need that, man. They're fine living out in the country or in some other city that doesn't have those kind of restrictions. Maybe like a pandemic relief fund, and then the people in those certain areas can go about their pandemic the way they want to go about their pandemic. If they decide, hey, nobody's leaving our house until 80% of us are vaccinated, then we'll all stay quarantined. If people need to decide that in order for them to feel safe, then cool, man. Maybe Chicago can just be a safe place for the people who need to wait it out for the vaccine. And maybe you can go down to fucking Houston where nobody cares. And everything's just like it was. And they're just handling it, taking the loss, living their lives. So you're gonna have those two separate ideas. So maybe as one of the best things we could do from a federal perspective with that is just allow a relocation of citizens. Maybe like a $5,000 one-time payment. That people can choose on the IRS website from a relocation fund. They can just go to the website and click on it. Put in their social security number and bam, they get it. Sent to their fucking connected EBT or fucking bank account shit. And it gives them a chance to move. Say somebody wants to move to Florida because it's working out good in Florida. Say another person wants to move to New York. They like how it's being dealt with in New York. People can relocate, maybe $10,000 for family relocation. Maybe people want to move to different school districts. Maybe people want to live in places where they keep it really safe with the schools. Maybe people don't. Rather than providing a singular solution across an entire country, which is going to cause a lot of disruption, why don't we give citizens the choice of relocating to a society, and we can just have like 20 different factors or 20 different measures of societies compared on a website, and people can go and look and find what's appropriate for them and decide whether they want to go or not. And then they relocate, they get an apartment or whatever. But help your citizens who can't do that. And then we can approach these things from those kind of perspectives. And people who have a high degree of fear can live in places. I mean, we've largely separated our societies like that already, the way that it is. We're just not really realizing how far the selfishness has really went. And now we realize the depth of the selfishness. It's going to drive us all to destruction if we don't deal with it. And that's just a simple fact. So, I was kind of thinking we could get more out of those styles of websites, more of those styles of critical analysis, those styles of listings, that citizens could use. And then we could provide some type of relocation fund so people could move. And we could all live within the range of our own fears rather than having to fight over ideas. I mean, that makes sense. Our society was already segregating the way that it was. People who want to live together can stay together. I'm pretty sure there's one side of that where that's inclusive and there's one side of that that's not. That's very clear to me. So maybe this will kind of help to without having to control a bunch of other factors, it'll allow a citizen the choice. And then a citizen can take their own personal responsibility for that choice and live in an environment that's suitable to them. So we can all find our appropriate space, our appropriate place, our appropriate communities, and live within the range of restrictions dictated by those communities where we're all in agreement, where we all live in agreement. It helps us find unity That's a unity idea. That's a unity right there. That's unity. Might not sound like it, but it sure the hell is. Because then everybody gets to be happy. That's unity. I like it.